practical steps that you can take to turn what's inside your head into a repeatable process so that you can share it with others and start to delegate tasks to others so that you're not having to do everything else yourself. Hey, my name is Schwab, and I'm a local business owner. I run a cleaning business nationwide in the US, and I'm also a coach specializing in helping small business owners build a balanced and efficient business. So just a real quick note before we get started, I want to ask that you subscribe to this channel if you can. And in return, I want to give you access to real life case studies on how to build your own local business and how to build a balanced business rather than a business that controls you and your life. I'm going to share battle-tested growth strategies that me and my students are using right now in our own businesses to grow, and expert interviews from industry experts in my network that have never been interviewed before on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube. You're going to get access to these experts first here, and I want to share all of this with you if you take the time to subscribe to this channel. What we're going to talk about today is practical steps that you can take to turn what's inside your head into a repeatable process, what many people call an SOP, a standard operating procedure, so that you can share it with others and start to delegate tasks to others so that you're not having to do everything else yourself. I think this is such an essential thing to do. It's kind of a pre-step that needs to be done before you hire office help, but a lot of people kind of skip over it or try and do it with the office help once they've already hired them. But I think it's essential that you do this before bringing on any help so that you can actually turn your business from a chaotic business into a structured business in each area and for each task. Systemizing your knowledge is a really important part of being a business owner rather than a business manager. And here's the way that I like to think about it. When clients come on to my virtual assistant agency, Inova Local, I have them, before they start, go through a 10-step process of systemizing their knowledge so that when their virtual assistant comes on to assist them in their daily tasks, they already have SOPs and plans and a priority list set out for them so they can get to work efficiently and cost effectively. And here's the basic high-level overview that you can use and take away in your own business too. First step is what is just called a brain dump. Essentially, what you're going to do is take a couple sheets of paper and write out every single little task that you do in your business. You reply to quotes 5 times a day. You call leads this many times. You check your bank account on Fridays for how much profit you need. You pay your teams on this day. You pay your marketing guy this day. You write every little task that you can think of down for your business on a couple sheets of paper. Just get it all out, just the names of the tasks that you do. And once you've got this long list of tasks, what you're going to do next is you're going to organize all of those tasks on a sheet of paper or in a Word document on your computer. You're going to organize them into different categories. You're going to have a category for marketing related tasks, sales related tasks, hiring and team management tasks, such as onboarding a new member or assigning a member their first job, customer support tasks, and daily admin tasks for running the business. If you have these 5 categories in place, you can roughly organize 90+% of all the tasks that you're going to do every day and every week into one of those categories. Take all of your tasks, write them out, then categorize them. And once you've categorized them, you're already halfway there. What I want you to do next is to create a mini 3 to 5 step process for each of these tasks so that eventually you can teach someone those steps to do the task effectively too. For example, if you're following up with a lead, you might have a 5-step follow-up process that you do. You might follow up initially, you might follow up 2 days later, you might send this message 5 days later, and finally you would put them in a do not contact list. So you would have a standard lead follow-up step-by-step guide along with templates for the messages that you send. You would write that into a 3 to 5 step mini process. And you do the same thing for onboarding a new team member. You do the same thing for doing payroll. You do the same thing for writing a blog post for your website. Take every task on that list that's important and make a mini process for each of those tasks in their respective categories so that you know roughly what you do. And you can just have a Word document with the task name, and then you can have a couple bullet points of the different steps involved. And so that you eventually have a built out list of categories with tasks and steps for each of those tasks built out. That's the rough process for getting it all out of your head and onto paper or onto your computer. Once you've done that, that's the hard part already done. Actually, that can take you a whole afternoon to do, maybe a day and a half if you're busy, right? But you can get it all done in a few hours. But that's the hard part. Once the hard part is done, what you want to do next is sign up for a simple tool like Process Street. That's their website is just process.st. This is a checklist software which helps you turn all of your tasks into repeatable checklists that you can do again and again. Use a simple tool like Process Street or a to-do list manager like Todoist or Trello to systemize each of those tasks into an actual standard operating procedure that you can repeat as needed when a new instance of that task is required. So use a simple tool like Process Street to standardize your knowledge so that you can do it again and again. Or when you bring on a team member to help, you can show them your account and you can walk them through how to do each task, and they can then refer to that task and the help in that account each time. So that's the fourth final big step of the SOP creation process, is to actually take all the knowledge that you've written out and implement it into a software that will allow you to repeat that task and update it as needed each time you want to do it again. And the final kind of bonus step that I like to share with you is teach this SOP to someone else. This is really important to do, even if you never intend on hiring office help, but will continue to do everything yourself, is you want to teach someone else the SOP to see how well they can follow those instructions and if they can do the task efficiently with only the information presented. This is so important because it will show you where the weak links are that you can't see yourself. We can all see some weak spots when we write something out or when we think something through, but we all have blind spots where we can't see them, but someone else will see them for us. Actually teaching your SOP to someone else is a critical final step in the process that you can do to ensure that your SOPs are effective for others to actually use when the time comes. And you can even share it to a Facebook group or a local community of business owners in your industry and ask them, hey, look, this is my SOP for onboarding new team members. Is there any changes you suggest that I make or any improvements that you see that I could consider, right? You can actually share it with them and they'll then give you feedback on how you can improve your SOP. That's the 4/5 step process that I use with clients and students for turning their knowledge into repeatable SOPs in their business. I know this can sound like a lot at first, but the truth is you can get most of this done in a single afternoon, up to maybe a day or a day and a half if you're busy and not able to attend to it all at once. But this is not something that should take you a week or 2 weeks to do. That's how you standardize your business using SOPs. And I'll share some of my specific SOPs in the comments so you actually have samples to go through and copy and use as a starting point if it's hard to actually think of a starting point yourself. You don't need any fancy guides to start with. You don't need any crazy automation softwares. You just need to get your knowledge down on paper, and then you need to put that knowledge into a simple software to use so it's repeatable. And the last thing I want to ask is there an area of your business that you've struggled to systemize? I often find that owners are really good at one or two things and really bad at one or two things. So I'm curious, the areas that you're not so good at in business, have you struggled to systemize them or struggled to create an SOP for those areas? And if you have, could you let me know in the comments what those are? Because I'd actually like to take that comment, I'd like to turn it into a video and help you. You can actually have a standard operating procedure for the areas in your business that are you're weakest at. Let me know what areas you're struggling to systemize in your business or what knowledge you're struggling to turn into an SOP, and I'll help you get it out into something effective. That's it for today's video, and I will see you soon.